For your notes for 8.9 electrical power. We're on page 28 right now. So please go to page 28 and fill this in with me. Power, we've talked about before when we talked about work. Power is defined as a rate of work or the rate of energy usage. So we've already seen the equation power equals work divided by time, which another way of saying that is power equals energy divided by time. So it could be how much energy you're putting into something or how much energy you're taking out of something. And the units are joules per second, which is also called the watt. So the unit of this, because energy is in joules, times in seconds, joules per second, that's called the watt. So now we're going to transition that idea into electricity. So in a circuit, we have voltage, which is joules per coulomb, how much energy each coulomb of charge gets. And we have current, which is actually coulombs per second, how much charge passes by a point per second. And if you combine those two things, volts times current, you end up with, for the units anyway, you end up with joules per coulomb times coulomb per second. These coulombs cancel out and you get joules per second, which is the unit of power, which is watts. So that's just a brief derivation of a new equation we have. Power with a capital P equals current times voltage. P equals IV. That's on the formula sheet that we always get. Power equals current times voltage. And again, the unit for power is the watt. So let's try to put that into action. In a lab, the voltage drop across the light bulb was 6 volts, and the current through the bulb was 0.2 amps. What's the power of the bulb? Well, we know that the voltage is 6 volts. We know that the current is 0.2 amps, and we're trying to find the power. We have our equation, P equals, technical difficulties, P equals I times V, current times voltage. So the power equals 0.2 amps times 6 volts, and we end up with 1.2 watts. 6 times 0.2 is 1.2 watts. That's the amount of power the bulb is giving. So that's basically saying every second the bulb is giving off 1.2 joules of energy. Announcements, am I right? Number 3 here. In the United States, the household voltage is 120 volts. All appliances plugged into regular outlets receive 120 volts. So that's in the outlet that you plug anything into, that's the voltage that comes out of it. So what's the current through a 60 watt light bulb when the bulb is on? So light bulbs, if you ever look at them, they will say something like 60 watts, 40 watts, 100 watts. They're telling you how much power the bulb emits. So we're looking for the current, that's what we're trying to find. And what we know is that the voltage is 120 volts. We can do it. 120 volts. And the power is 60 watts. Notice it didn't say the word power in here at all, but I can tell from the unit that the 60 watts is the power. So calculations, we've got our equation P equals IV. The power is 60 watts. The current is what we're looking for, and the voltage is 120 volts. So we divide by 120, divide by 120. We end up with a current that's 0.5 amps. So part B here is saying, what's the resistance of this 60 watt light bulb? So we know it's power, we know it's voltage, we know it's current. How do we get resistance? We know the power is 60 watts, we know the voltage is 120 volts, and we know the current now is 0.5 amps. we're looking for resistance. So we think, what equation involves resistance and has other stuff that we know? And we come up with Ohm's law. Notice P is not in there. We don't need it for this part of the problem. So the voltage is 120, the current is 0.5, and then we're trying to find the resistance. So we divide by 0.5, divide by 0.5, and we end up with the resistance of 240 ohms. And we'll box that. That's basically what you need to do the homework now, which is turning the page to page 29. I want you to do parts C and D. They're related to the problem we were just doing. You do not have to do number 4 right now, but I do want you to do number 5 and, turning the page, number 6. So you're finishing up number 3, you're skipping number 4, and then you're doing number 5 and number 6. And that's it.